I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so we'll talk about it after the show. What I was trying to figure out. All right, guys. So let's see what happens. I was just doing some very quick last minute research to see if the word abortion is acceptable on YouTube. And, I Googled it and there are a lot of content. There's a lot of content regarding abortion on YouTube. However, I pulled up another article and basically they said back in, I just Googled simply, is the word abortion allowed on YouTube? And they're treating it, I think, I did the zeros like you said, Lily, instead of.
Okay.
So we will see what happens. Either way, we're here. The content will be up. We're going to talk about this tonight. So back in July of 2022, regarding the word abortion, it says YouTube to remove certain abortion-related content. So I guess they're treating it kind of like COVID, where it said YouTube will begin removing and labeling certain abortion-related content on the video sharing platform. The company said Thursday. Why it matters: as states pass new laws and rhetoric continues to heat up, tech platforms are grappling with how to treat online information about abortion in the wake of the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision overturning Roe versus Wade. So basically, they're treating it like COVID, and they don't want people giving, false information or agenda-filled information. But let's be clear, they all have agendas, including YouTube. So that's what it is. So we may not get as many people in here as we usually do. Either way, we are doing this stream tonight because I want to get the Block's opinion on this subject, and who also whoever pops up in the chat. And I did it's interesting when I do certain topics, right? They're not mainstream news, but again, like we were talking yesterday about the reparations, things are still happening like on 24-hour basis, right? Whether it's where people pro-life or pro-choice. So I pulled up an article. This is literally from a couple hours ago. This woman here, I thought I emailed it to myself.
And so basically, what they were saying is that if we don't speak in the way that gratifies their donors, they will be blocking and shadow banning.
There you go, right? So it's funny to me when they say, no, we're protecting the people, right? We're
Yes,
protecting the
yes.
people, whether it's from the COVID information or abortion information. It's really, you're protecting your interests. I mean, God bless America, but America has proven over and over again, they are most concerned with self-interest. It's not about the people, right? Every time the
Uh-huh.
people is in dire straits or in need, America goes absentee landlord. So with that said, welcome everyone to On the Block with Jen. You know where to find me. On the Block with Jen on all social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And ooh, you guys got to see the last reel I posted on TikTok and on Instagram. Extra sexy. Haran, did you see it? Did you see it? Was
Yes, it
I
was
cute?
sexy. Yes, it was cute.
I gotta go look at it. I gotta go look at it. I'll take a look after the
Listen,
show.
you have to see. I was feeling creative. Every now and then I feel creative. And I was like, you know what? What if your drunk ex called you and you had already moved on with someone? And I said, I'm going to act that out. And I did it. It's very sexy. It's very cute. You can see it on my TikTok or on my Instagram. And I basically was asking people, not gender specific, guys and girls. I said, would you answer the call if your toxic ex called you, though you moved on? So it's a really cute reel. You guys gotta check it out. Or then leave me a comment. Say yay or nay and reason why. So with that said, passing the mic, Lily, let the people know where to find you so we could chit chat a little bit about this.
I am Lily Washington of YB Limited. That is the letter Y, the letter B, the word limited. It's spelled right here on the screen. And you can find me here on YouTube as well as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and I think that's about it.
And
Savon.
I
And
And I am Heron DeMarco. You can catch me as Heron Dr. Marco here on YouTube. You can catch me as Dangerous DeMarco on IG. And you can catch me as Heron DeMarco on Spotify and Apple Music.
Yes. No, sir.
Oh, come on. Let's not play this game. I am Saint. I am No Saint. I'm Saint No Saint right here on YouTube, on IG, and just No Saint on TikTok if you want to check me out over there.
Yeah, guys, follow my people, follow the team. We are a team, so it's very important you follow all of us because we are bringing different content from different walks of life regarding our professions and our points of view. So if you want to get more of the block, you got to follow everybody. Okay, so welcome. Tonight's topic is who is responsible for abortion, and I want to tackle this from different angles because I know you're wondering, what do you mean who's responsible for abortion? What part? Well, all of it. Is the government responsible for pro-life, pro-choice? We know that Roe versus Wade was overturned, but also if the decision of abortion is made, who's responsible for the bill? When we think about abortion, we think about women primarily, but what if there's a man who doesn't want the woman to abort, right? Should there be repercussions for that, or is it completely the woman's responsibility, right? And decision. I'm sure there are men out there who, believe it or not, want to watch your mics. There's a lot of noise. Believe it or not, want to have children. And the women are like, no, I don't want to have children. So this is not one-sided. Now, is the majority maybe women making decisions? Of course. But I'm sure there are men out there that are like, no, I want to have this child. I don't want you to quote unquote delete my baby. They are out there. All right. There's billions of people on the planet. I'm sure there are men that would have rather had a child that was soon aborted. So I want to talk about it from different angles. Who's responsible, right? And I've had this debate before, and there's usually a resounding, right? It's the woman's responsibility of pregnancy. We can't even get the genders to agree. It takes two people to make a baby. Okay, it's always, had she not opened her legs, she controls sex. We can't force her. Like literally, we can't even decide that daddy has 50% and mama has 50%, and that's how this baby comes to be. No, we're still blaming women for their own pregnancies. Okay, so I want to take it from there. If there are any general comments from the panel, I'd love to hear them before I get into this article. Also, chat, hold me down. Don't forget you can support the show on the Block with Jen Cash App. Thank you so much to everyone who Cash Apps me after I'm off air. It means you caught the replay and you appreciate the content, and we appreciate you. Or you can super chat us. You can also come up on the panel. We love to see your face. However, if you don't want your face being shown for whatever reason, throw some chips in the super chat. Okay, there's a fee for hiding, which is fine. And also, I'm in an unblocking mood. So if you're someone I blocked and now you're lurking and you can't comment, feel free to cash at me and I'll find you on the block list and I'll unblock you. See how fair I am? All right, guys. So what do you guys think generally about abortion before we get into this very interesting article of a woman who was recently convicted, literally hours on the hour regarding abortion?
Well, I am very pro-life. I'm very pro-life.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm pro-life. Just because I am, because I don't have a dog in the fight, right? So I'm not going to police a woman's body. I don't have a womb, right? So I'm just not going to police it. So I'm going to leave that up to the 50-50, right? Now, that's the part that I get confused about too. I've heard this argument and the not being able to agree part. And when I hear the argument, I still don't understand why they don't understand that if one of the 50% decide not to put their 50% in, that's just called masturbation.
This is true.
But I don't know. So I'll leave it at that before I go any further.
Okay, now you said you were pro-life. Not pro-choice.
I mean, pro-choice.
Okay. That's why I said
I'm a little tired.
That's fine. That's why I said, oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, yeah. I got it now. Gentlemen, Haran, I know you almost jumped over Lily. So what you got to say?
Nah, I don't generally get into these debates because I don't. I think that's a woman's business.
Okay, so can you
There's-
just entertain us just for the sake of the stream tonight?
I will. That's why I'm going to say that. Say this. There's been times when I benefited from a woman choosing not to have the child because I didn't want to have the kid either. So I'm not going to be a
Interesting
hypocrite.
stance.
I'm not going to
Okay.
be a hypocrite here and say that, no, we need to. No, there was times when that shit benefited me. And I was like, yeah, great. On another hand, it's like, I understand the men who actually wanted the child and she said, nah. And he's like, yo, I want my stance to be taken into account. And I've been on the stance where, I can see why you're upset. You know what I mean? I think you both should have sat down and had a conversation, maybe before you had a kid, though. Yeah, man, before she got pregnant. Maybe you guys should have had that conversation. But another side of this is, okay, so if we're going to sit here and say women control sex and so on and so forth, or whatever, what have you, and blame women for being single mothers and all that, what have you, then you should just not bellyache when they choose not to have kids. Just leave the entire fucking, decision up to them. Why are you sitting down and why are you combating it if you're constantly blaming the situation on women? And they're saying, choose better, do this, whatever. Well, okay, she's choosing better now. She's choosing not to have the kid. If you're constantly putting that power in her hand, because you could have chosen not to skeet in the woman. I could have chosen that. It just so happens that the woman didn't want the child either. So it worked out for me. So that's where I stand on it. I really don't get into women's business in situations like that.
So thank you for being honest first and foremost. So basically you're saying that, the onus is usually put on women, but then when women want to abort, people are fighting her saying, no, it's murder or what have you. Right. But we're constantly telling women to pick better. So when she does pick better. So damned if you do and damned if you don't for women.
Like I've seen dudes actually say that they want the woman to have the child and they don't show up for the kid.
I've seen that several times.
I've seen that as well.
So it's just like, wait a minute, you wanted the kid, but you're not here supporting the child. Mm-hmm. So what is the point here? I've seen dudes actually say they want the kid. She says, okay, we're going to have it, even if she didn't want it. And they don't show up for the kid.
Mm-hmm. I've seen children. Yeah, I've seen babies used. I've seen a lot of guys use, and this throughout my life, I've seen men do this, where they use that woman's pregnancy to lock her down, right? And then people forget that babies cost money, right? And then they don't show up, but they wanted that woman locked down, right? So women aren't the only ones that have those, like my friend so eloquently used to say, rest in peace, Johnny, keep a nigga baby. Right. He used to say women try to keep a nigga babies, but men do that as well. It's like keep her locked down babies. What say you, Saint?
It's complicated. It's very complicated. In general, I am pro-choice, but at the same time, when I hear these discussions, it makes it kind of tough, and I'll explain why. So we're talking about people not being in people's lives. I always tend to think that, I'm not going to Google it right now, but the chances that you are born are so astronomical. And for someone to take that chance away strictly because it's inconvenient kind of punches me in the gut sometimes. I was told when Erica was pregnant with Ethan, my first child, she had thyroid. She had hyperthyroid, and we didn't know until after we found out she was pregnant after she got diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, and it makes the pregnancy complicated. That doctor was trying to push us towards abortion, and I had already seen the ultrasound, and I was like, no, not going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Was that her stance as well?
Well, he was talking about it, and she in her mind was thinking, "Oh, maybe we should." But I was so strong before. I was like, "No, that's not happening. I'm not." And
What if they said the baby had a chance of being, handicapped or disabled? What would your decision been
I
then?
mean, I don't know. I don't know what I would have thought at that point. I just knew that the pregnancy can be difficult, but there's certain medications you can go on that that may not pass the placenta to all these things that you look at. But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't sit there and say I'm going to, even though we can argue whether the fetus is a baby yet or not. That's not my stance. I tend to think if it's in the first whatever 6 weeks, it doesn't have brain activity. I know what it's going to become, though. I know it's going to become a child, right? And there's something to be said about having to let someone see the ultrasound and you can see the heart beating and everything. Not that I would have gotten an abortion otherwise, but it was like, that's my child. You know what I mean? And the other side of this is what I was bringing up before is it's so hard. Like I said, I'm not anti. I'm not anti. I'm not in that fight of making laws to prevent, because there are certain situations where, women's life's at risk. Maybe the baby's going to not, mentally nothing's there, I mean, so I understand there's certain things that may warrant it, but it's a tough situation because but anything other than that, I don't agree with. I don't agree that just because a man's not going to be in the baby's life, that person's life's necessarily not worthy or somehow is going to be a negative. Who knows? We don't know if it's going to be a negative or not, So
Lily, hold on, Herman. Lily, you have headphones on. Do you hear that thing when No Saint is talking? That like
A little bit. It's not bad today as it usually is. Say something, no saying.
Hello.
Yeah,
there's like a little. I don't know if the audience could hear it.
No, I hear a little crackle.
Yeah.
Let me
No
turn
Saint,
this
you
thing
have
off. It might be. I don't know if it's something I have on next to here that might be making a noise. Hold on. Let me see here real quick.
Yeah.
Is that any different?
Yeah, keep talking.
Static.
Hello. I'm here.
Yeah, it's something connected to it that we didn't used to hear before. So whatever it is that you did different, like you got to go back. Tristan says a crackling sound. Every time you talk, it's like there's annoying crackling sound. And I can hear it in my headphones. And obviously the audience can hear it now too.
I had a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend who she was pregnant. She called me up. They were close to the end of the pregnancy, and she called me up and she said, "Hey," she asked my opinion on it, and she said, "Hey, me and my husband were thinking about where we're going to terminate the pregnancy." And I'm like, "Yeah, what happened?" She's like, "Well, they find out the kid got Down syndrome." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she asked me what I thought. I was like, I think you should terminate the pregnancy. And a lot of people.
That's what my father would say.
That a lot of people would think that, oh, you should say that, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. Well, people say a lot of things until you ask them, well, you gonna babysit? You gonna babysit a special needs kid? You gonna put your marriage on the line for a special needs kid? Because a lot of times people don't talk about how the death of a child and a special needs child leads to divorce. So you ready to go down that road? See, a lot of people like to, to put on little rose-colored glasses, like, oh no, we're all God's children, or whatever the fuck it is, until the child shows up, until the challenges show up, and and you're met with that. I told her, look, terminate the pregnancy, whatever that fuck anybody else tells you, tell them to fuck off. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to you and your special needs kid, trust me, they're gonna make sure that this is your problem.
Correct.
So to your credit, right? So I have a really good friend who has 2 special needs children, who was married to her high school sweetheart, and yes, it ended in divorce because it's very difficult. And not only does she have 2 special needs children, but she does a lot of work with families that have special needs children. And yes, divorce is very like it's like an anomaly for a couple with a special needs child to stay together. And then on top of that, being a single parent with one special needs child
Yep.
is a whole different world that none of us on this panel know what it's like. I just got a peek into that life and I'm just like, oh my God, like, you're right. So, yeah, people say a lot of things, but they say a lot of things about things that they have no dog in the fight. Like they're not going to be there to help the situation, but they got a lot to say. They're very
Mhm,
passionate. Well,
mhm.
but they can come home after work, kick off their shoes, kick up their feet, and watch some TV. Right, but they're not worried about G tubes and cleaning out G tubes and having to check your baby in the middle of the night. You like parents like that. They don't get real sleep. They're
Right,
they're trained not to get real sleep because they're listening to baby monitors for the duration of their child's life.
right.
So these are things that people don't think about. It's not really cut and dry like that, but a lot of people got a lot to say.
No, Saint, you said that your wife was diagnosed with a thyroid problem. So was the pregnancy dangerous to her?
No. Is my mic any better? If not, I'll switch to my regular mic. Can you
There's
can you
still
hear?
like a
Okay,
it's still like a little crackling after you end your sentences.
I'll see what I can do about changing the mic just to. Okay, is that any better? Hello,
Yep.
hello, hello.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yes, it is.
I don't know what's going on with the mic, but it is what it is. No, there was no danger. Other than the only danger was getting her thyroid from overproducing. So that was the medicine that was being used. We,
Mhm.
found I looked up what kind of medicine for a pregnancy and everything like that. So the only danger would be like possibly it makes the pregnancy more difficult, like make, possible they couldn't tell you like this is going to happen if you take this medicine, but it just, is one of those things. It could pass through the placenta and all that kind of stuff. So,
Mhm.
so no, there was no danger to her though.
Mhm. A thing I always found amusing because I've heard you say this before. You're like, the chances of you being born are one in like billions, and that's always funny to me because it's like we're not the special sperm. Like we're not, you know what I mean? Like any sperm could have made it, and then that person was going
No,
to
you're
grow up and
right.
be a human being. Like it's not like we're the chosen one.
No, we're not the chosen one, but it is like a different sperm. You could have a different result. You know what I mean? It's not like
uh,
we're chosen.
uh,
Yeah, I mean, each sperm is
here's
carrying a different variety of genes that it's passing on. So, in other words, out of those billions of sperms traveling to the egg, not every sperm is going to have the same. You wouldn't have been the same person if it would have been a different sperm. Is all I'm saying. The egg would have been possibly the same. The egg would have been the same. You would have got half of you, but you wouldn't have been the same. And so what I'm saying is, okay, so then that baby gets aborted. The next time around is not going to be the same person. It's just not,
because
So
it's
that's
not
why
the same sperm.
right, and that's what I'm saying. Like the chances of you being born are just crazy when you think about it. And
I don't see it that way. I think that goes back to the arrogance of human beings.
okay,
Honestly, you know what I mean? It's the arrogance of human beings. Like human beings do the same thing cockroaches do, but for some reason when we do it, it's special. Like cockroaches get pregnant and there's offspring, right? And that no one's thinking the chances of that egg full of cockroaches were, what I mean, phenomenal. It's like we're just
I mean, no,
organisms that can reproduce. We're just
But
arrogant.
listen,
yeah, but
man.
it's the same. It's
But
the same
listen,
with every
Saint.
species. I'm not acting like if it was a different like whatever, two elephants having sex. Yeah, that elephant chance of that one baby elephant being born is astronomical as well. That exact copy of that elephant. I'm not thinking it's special. I'm just saying that once there's a fetus in the womb, that is like the chances of that fetus are astronomical being there. That it's just like that particular one. So I say, okay, they won the lottery. That fetus won the lottery, or if you want to call it that, if you like life and you enjoy life.
Personally,
That fetus is the lottery. That fetus is born, and no other than
personally exactly. Like personally speaking, all this fucking shit is overrated. Okay, all this shit is fucking overrated. if for some chance when I was down there going to the egg and somebody distracted me, be like, hey, look, a Starbucks. So, and somebody got the egg for me, I wouldn't have been mad.
It just, I think that I mean, it's very sweet, but I
It's the
think
only race I
there's
won in my
whimsy.
life. Don't take this away from me.
Listen, there's a little whimsy to it because you're thinking about, a full grown adult. When I think that comes from being a full grown adult, that idea that, look, you're special, you made it out of it's a science. It's a fucking science move. It's a
crapshoot, though.
I don't think it's a crapshoot.
You wouldn't have been born if your daddy's sperm wouldn't have entered
but
your mom.
But somebody would have, and nobody would have been the wiser. Nobody would have been the wiser.
And that's the part I'd be thinking. Nobody would have known.
No, you're right. You wouldn't have known.
What about all my siblings? Those billions of siblings of mine that didn't make it. Like it's.
Do we ever think
about
them?
Play the violin.
We never think about them.
What
it's the same violin. It's the same violin. What about all those deaths of the siblings?
I've met billions of them in a sock.
Your son's siblings are in a sock. No saying. Your son's siblings are in a sock. Do you think about those siblings in his sock? You think about
they didn't win the lottery.
Oh.
Jesus.
A lot of people lose the lottery.
Right.
Do you think that
But wait, but what you guys are talking about is I got the winning ticket, and then somebody comes and rips it and shreds it up and throws it. Wait, that was the Powerball winning numbers.
That's not what we're talking about.
I mean, it's kind of what I'm talking about. It's like, hey, if I missed the ride and I don't think I'd know the wiser, I wouldn't give a fuck.
You wouldn't.
No.
You wouldn't.
Come on,
no, I understand that.
Hey, look, man. After a couple of cheesecakes and you're in between a few legs and you see a cool show, what else is there in this bitch?
That sounds good. Actually, cheesecake. I haven't had cheesecake in a while. Not even have cheesecake on my head until I
reaching for one. I was reaching for one earlier, and I said no.
Hey guys, buy me some cheesecake. Forget the smoothie. Send me a Cash App or a super chat so I can get me a slice of cheesecake later. You guys are treating me with cheesecake. Okay, so just let me ask a remedial question in my Annalicia voice. Who do you think when the decision of abortion is made? And it's funny you said that the doctor was pushing for abortion because doctors usually do push for abortion, but it's not. I don't think it's because they're evil people. They're very practical. They're very black and white, and they're thinking, why put yourself through some bullshit that you don't have to? We could medically reduce it, right? That's how they're thinking. And then there's money involved for the whole, for the whole organization.
No, this was Air Force, so there wasn't money, but yeah. This is the Air Force doctor.
They what?
This is the Air Force doctor. So there was no monetary gain for them to do that. It was the Air Force doctor, is what I said. I was still in the Air Force when this was happening.
So the doctor that performs the abortion doesn't get paid?
Yeah, but there's no extra money if he gets an abort. He just gets paid regular, whatever officer money he gets. It's not like he'll get a bonus or something.
Yeah, but he still gets paid, right?
Everybody gets paid. I'm saying he gets paid more. He gets paid no more than any other person his rank. That is, if there's a major cleaning a toilet somewhere, he wouldn't get paid.
So the doctor telling you to get the abortion would be the one performing the abortion.
I don't know that. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, because usually another guy. But anyway, let me ask a remedial question. Who's responsible for the bill? Haran, I'm sure you foot the bill for your situation.
A few times.
Look at you, bang bang, shooting up the club.
I usually invest in well, I'm more careful now, but for some time I usually invested in the Plan B pill. I had a nice healthy batch of those. Got to be careful.
Okay. Legally, no saying who should pay the bill? Who should pay the abortion bill?
Ooh. You know, I never thought about this because I've never had to. It's like this is literally one of those things that just never crossed my mind. Um, well, normally I hear the guy paying for. Now listen, I've gone to plenty of abortion clinics to support friends, and
Hmm.
all of those times it was the guy. So I'm guessing that's the norm in my mind.
Okay. No
So,
saying who should pay.
so, Haran, you said Plan B is what you were using. Plan B.
Yeah, I hear crackling
After
again
a
too,
while.
Tristan. What's wrong? What kind? You on Puerto Rican Wi-Fi? No saying.
I don't know.
On that refugee walk.
I have no idea what's going on. And if it's cracking again,
Yeah. What have you done different
nothing.
between
It ju-
the
I haven't
last
done
couple days? Because it was happening like the last 2 days too. All right.
it.
You were saying.
I was just asking if he said he did Plan B. I thought I heard Haran say he does Plan B. Let me switch over to this. If it's cracking, I might as well have a better mic on. No, I think that the guys, if they agree, if it's an agreeable thing, then the guy's most likely the one that's going to pay. But if it's a disagreement, probably the woman's going to pay for it. If the guy, strictly says, I don't want you to have an abortion and is in protesting and they're fighting over it, I'm sure the guy's not going to pay for it.
So there was a woman, says here, anti-abortion activist who kept fetuses at home, convicted of blocking access to the DC clinic. Yeah, lady, she kept them at home.
Uh,
Yeah. A
Does
group
anyone ask her why?
Well, a group of anti-abortion activists, including a woman who famously stored fetal remains in a refrigerator in her Washington, D.C. house basement, has been convicted of violating federal law after blockading the Washington Surgery Clinic. Lauren Handy, the group's leader and a previously convicted anti-abortion advocate who recruited activists from several states to organize the blockade, as well as 4 other members of the progressive anti-abortion uprising, were convicted by a jury Tuesday on 2 felony counts, each of conspiracy against rights and violating the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, a 1994 federal law that makes it illegal to physically obstruct or threaten a person attempting to obtain reproductive health services. The other defendants were John Hinshaw of Levittown, New York, Heather Idoni of Linden, Michigan, William Goodman of New York, and Herb Gurity of Pittsburgh. Wow, she recruited people from all over. Go ahead.
She was busy.
She was busy. DC police body camera footage revealed that one patient who testified under a pseudonym had no other choice but to climb through a window into the reception area after members of the group took furniture from the waiting room to barricade the clinic's entrance. Authorities said they also used chains, ropes, and bike locks to tie themselves to chairs and one other and yelled at incoming patients, telling them they were killing babies and going to hell. Another woman who had traveled from Ohio to receive an abortion says she collapsed on the floor outside the clinic in pain while her husband pleaded with the activist to stop, according to reports. A nurse who was working at the clinic that day sustained a severe injury as activists who had hidden in an emergency stairwell stormed the clinic following Handy's instructions, according to officials. They planned their crime carefully to take over that clinic, block access to reproductive services, and interfere with other rights. Assistant U.S. Attorney John Crabb said during his closing arguments last week, the Post reported. The idea of deliberately breaking the law to them was sexy. His words, not mine. The defendants who broadcast the 3-hour blockade live on Facebook are now facing up to 11 years in prison. That's more than pedophiles.
So they put their crime on Facebook Live. Okay.
What else would you do with your crime in 2023? 3 years of supervised release and a fine of up to $350,000. Ms. Handy is a person who has the courage of her convictions, Crampton reportedly said, willing to do time, obviously doesn't want to do time, while she will fight on. We intend to fight on as well as the Thomas More Society. So I guess this woman kept the remains of aborted fetuses, to go along either with her belief or her protest or whatever. I don't know if she was going to use those frozen fetuses out her fridge, hurl them at people, show them, take pictures. I don't know why, but apparently she's so passionate about pro-life that she, I guess, I don't know where she would get these fetuses from, but
Yeah,
refrigerated.
Can't
I
even
was
laugh.
Yeah, I was
Go ahead.
literally putting like in my head, I was picturing her like climbing over like the gate at night and going through the trash can or something. Like that's the best way I can put it. But I didn't know that it was illegal to block the entrance
I
and
didn't know
to
either.
yeah, that was the first time I've heard that. But it
Apparently
should be.
11 years illegal.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I ain't even gonna ask if she a white woman.
You don't have to ask that.
I was about to say I kinda am I racist for assuming that? Can someone tell me? I don't
I'm not
That
even
that
gonna
was kind of racist, Lily.
yeah, because my
ask.
I just pictured her whole phenotype in my head.
We can lean towards observational. We tend to observe their culture. They tend to do certain
Okay.
eccentric things, so we can lean towards observational.
No, Saint, the last thing that you were doing with your mic was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I just unhooked my headphones and everything just to see
Okay.
if it possibly was going through that. I don't know. It's kind of
Okay.
weird hearing the show like.
Yeah, no, once you use headphones and you go back to no headphones, it is very strange.
Yes.
So what do you think? The last thing you did was fine, though, FYI. So what do you think about, all right, who is responsible for A, Bor, Zero, TIO, and Zero, Shen? What do you think about the government being involved? Like Roe versus Wade was overturned. These women, as we heard in the article, are traveling, taking flights to get abortions. What do you think about the government being involved?
So, yeah, well, the government's involved when they make it to where you can't get an abortion. But this is what I think is funny. I think it's funny that the whole time they were saying it's states' rights. And so they got what they wanted. They got certain states that are making it where you can't get an abortion or can't terminate a pregnancy. And they have certain states that you have a certain amount of weeks. But now, see, the true thing is they don't want it to be states' rights. Now they want it to be federally banned. So that whole thing about send it back to the states' rights was a ruse. Now we're seeing that they're traveling to other places because it wasn't good enough, because they realized that you can go to some other state and get it done there, So I think when you stop something that was a legal procedure, that now the government is involved. Now there are certain state governments that are involved in it and shouldn't be. It should be, you should have access to that medical procedure. And because we know what happened in the past, we know people found a way to do it, even at the risk of terminating themselves on accident, So I don't think the government should be involved in those decisions.
What do you think?
I was saying this back when the whole CV mandate was going on. That was actually one of the things that I was really upset about, because I was like, is this me or somebody else? You hear that?
What are you hearing?
I don't know. I'm just hearing. I don't know if it's feedback from.
Feedback.
Yeah.
Just everybody mute your mic until you talk. I'll mute my mic.
So when we was going through the mandate and everything like that, it kind of what No Saint was saying. I was like, okay, we're allowing the government to have a say over our body. That's a very slippery slope. And I hope they will not stop there. Once we give them that, like once you give any person or group power, they are not going to give it back. They're just not. So I was like, once we do that, I said, watch, the next thing that's going to happen, it's going to be women's rights. Then from there, it's going to be LGBT rights. Then it's going to be Black rights. What happened? Literally in that order. Literally in that order. And they're not going to stop there. I mean, power feels good, right? So that is my biggest issue. I just don't think that the government should have a say in our bodies at all, because they're just not going to stop with something that seems plausible, that a lot of people are, that at least 50% of people agree on. They're not going to just stop with that. So
Do you think that do you think, what if someone were to say, well, that sounds like paranoia? Like, what do you think is going to happen after Roe versus Wade was overturned? Which I think is a very targeted, like every time I see the government do something, I think it's for a very specific reason and they have a very specific agenda. But I don't think it's like, and I'm gonna age myself, I don't think it's like the blob where it's a thing where it's like we're just moving around taking over everything, because then we're going into like what No Saint is petrified of a dictatorship, right? No Saint, I know you're anti-conspiracy theories, but according to you, Trump is going to have all in chains again and take us back to slavery, right? But then
No,
you're the type of person that doesn't
that's not
believe
what
in
I said.
conspiracy theories.
That's
Okay.
not-
But when it comes to Trump, you're like, no, he's coming to get us. So what would you say before you respond, No Saint? What would you say,
Okay,
Lily, if you're like, if what would you say, Lily, if you're like, oh, it's an exaggeration, that's paranoia, that they were just doing this for abortion rights, and if you still believe like, no, one thing can lead to another, what would that look like for, let's say, the LGBTQ? Like, what rights do you think would be overturned for LGBTQ? Because the LGBTQ, the 2S LGBTQIA plus would raise Cain and Abel.
yeah, yeah, they would, but I don't even want to go too far down that topic. But okay, when they did say that to me, when I said that, now look where we're at. The evidence is here. There's tons of LGBTQ rights that are on the bill right now, on the docket right now. They're steadily taking rights away right now. Yes, we are raising Cain. They don't care, right? They, like I said, I don't want to go too far down that topic, but even when we were beyond reproach, I knew that was an illusion at that particular time. I said, that's just for now, right? That's just for now. So now we're in a whole nother place where it's the complete opposite. Now they're stripping all of the rights away. So the evidence speaks for itself.
Do you know? Do you
um,
know of any? Hold on. Do you know of any LGBTQ rights that are on the books right now for review, or something that was overturned to your knowledge? Do you know of anything that was a right and now it's like, no, we take that back?
Yeah, they're taking away the ability to transition. They're trying to take that away. That's up for debate. The access to medical care, for the hormones and stuff. Because once you start hormones, you have to stay on them for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
They don't care about that. That's being taken away. There's like 20 different bills. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I do know that there's like 20, because every time I get something that hits my feed, that's what's coming up, and that's what they're talking about, for both federal and certain states.
Now they
And
trying to take away the rights to adolescents,
mm-mm, this is not just, that's part of it. That's one,
because that
but
I
then,
understand.
I agree with that one, but
Okay.
that's not the one. But
Okay.
that's part of it. That's just one. But they're
Okay.
for access to care for adults as well. Gender affirming care, I know for sure, is definitely up for debate. There's quite a bit of them. And they're making a fuss, but like I said, that was perceived power, because when they ready to silence you, they change the algorithm. So that's why a lot of people don't know right now. So yeah. So but like I said, I saw it coming. It was clear as day to me, and now we're here. So
So do
hey.
you think that, no, because this is interesting. I promise I'll pass the mic after this, guys. So do you think that, all right, all these rights happened, right? And then life
Hmm.
became better for the LGBTQ and even for women with Roe versus Wade. So do you think that they passed all them rights, went through all that trouble just to overturn them all?
Yeah. That's weird to me. That's really weird to me. But a lot of things don't make sense. I mean, for like you said, women and for LGBTQ, to have made a lot of different stride and things like that, and then just to be thrown back within a matter of time is like, I mean, like in a short period of time, is amazing. Um,
I mean, well, we do see the red pill pushing, women shouldn't vote. So, a lot of things are happening. Gentlemen, I forgot who wanted to jump in. Was it Haran or No Saint? Okay.
I think this is a very simple equation. You just need to really just follow the money. I mean, the birth rates are dropping. The birth rates are dropping because women have more control over their over reproduction. They can decide whether or not they want to have children, and they're concentrating on their careers and so on and so forth. So a lot of I mean, people are thinking about the future. That affects the populace. That affects production. That affects business. That's it's money being lost down the line. And you have these red pill ideas of taking away their right to vote and so on and so forth. And a couple of months ago, I said it: a white man trying to get his woman back in the kitchen, barefoot and fucking pregnant. That's what I think the plan is overall. Because it's if you really think about it on a macro level, that is in his best interest right now. How is that not in his best interest right now?
YouTube press, darling. I think it's the word abortion. Like it doesn't get thrown all over YouTube, but we're glad you made it. No Saint, what say you?
Yeah, so we all do this, so I'm not picking on anybody, but the slippery slope fallacy that this is just the beginning and everything's going to start falling that way. It's called the slippery slope fallacy. I don't think that is what's going on here. I think that you have certain huge blocks of people, the same people that are against the LGBTQ are the same people that are against abortion, that have a huge say in where a direction of the people they vote for push agendas. And so the abortion, they've been on this probably since it was Roe v. Wade. They've been trying to undermine Roe v. Wade probably since the 70s. And then they started pushing it through the evangelical movement. And so politicians could always use, just like they can use the border wall as a wedge issue and get people all up in arms, they always use the abortion issue, the right. And now they caught the car. We talked about, I think Haran and I talked about this before. They caught the car, and they're starting to realize that most people do not want abortions to be banned. And people that would normally be safe in certain states, as far as politically, are finding out that wasn't a good move. And so it's really caught the car. The people that used it to get people riled up and to vote for them are finding out that most people don't want the restrictions that they're trying to push. So I don't believe that it's, I don't believe the government is that organized. They can't run anything very well. I don't think there's a master plan. I think certain issues will get people power, and they use those issues to divide people and get them up in arms. That's what I think. And abortion is one of them.
So I think that's a different stance from what you had before, because when the subject of Trump comes up, you sound like a crazy woman, a paranoid crazy woman, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
The stuff that you say is kind of laughable. You make it sound like, he's going to be the new Hitler for America. I understand. I do agree when you say they're not that organized, or there's not a master plan. I don't think you need to be organized or have a master plan to create damage and overturn laws. 10 years ago, you would ask somebody, you think Roe versus Wade, whatever? No, that's going to stick. It's going to stick like glue. And the thing I find interesting in current times, what I find interesting is that a lot of people talk about the slippery slope fallacy, right? And I keep hearing people say, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And then another year goes by, and then something happens. And then something crazier. And then something, and here's the thing, and something crazier than that happens the next year. And then something even crazier than that happens. We have Joe Biden and that other guy falling asleep at podiums. They haven't been fired. They haven't been removed, right? Everyone said Trump's not going to win. That's not going to happen. He's a reality show, but that's not going to happen. He's not going to happen. And then it happens. And then it's like fires aren't going to happen. Then they happen. And earthquakes are not going to happen. And then it's not. I keep hearing over and over again about shit that's never going to happen. And then it happens. And then something crazier even happens. Like we're seeing it not only in politics and government, but we're seeing it with music. We're seeing it with celebrities. We're seeing it with everyday people. We're seeing it with mass murders. We say it's not going to happen, and I'm like, it's the proverbial fucking the monster on the wing. It's the monster on the wing, right? It's like, do you not fucking see what's happening? That's not gonna, and everybody in the plane, that's not gonna happen. Meanwhile, the motherfucking monster is bringing the plane down. So if this was maybe 1940, 1950, no, I understand. But the way things are going, specifically in this country, Bitcoin, that's not going to happen. Then it happens. And then that's not going to happen. Then it goes the other way. Right? Like America is a roller coaster of twists and turns, except you don't know the pattern.
The issue with all the things you're saying, everybody's going to point to the successes that they said may or may not happen. They're never going to point to the million things they said were going to happen that never happened, right? They always thought, oh, there you go. It's like a psychic. They'll tell you a million things that aren't happening. Oh, Uncle Ted said, look under the couch and there's a quarter. Son of a bitch, they were right. There was a quarter under there. So as far as your comment on me and Trump, no, I see evidence of what Trump did. If you didn't watch the January 6th committee and you didn't see all the things that were going on that you wouldn't have known unless these things had come out, I have reason to worry about if he gets in office. It's not like I'm just scared or I don't know and I'm just saying, oh, he's Hitler. I don't know if he's Hitler or not. I don't think he's Hitler. But all I'm saying is that there are things that he tried to do to undermine the democracy. I don't want him back in office because I saw what he tried to do the first time around. I have evidence of the stuff that I fear. So
but isn't that, but
I'm going to address that.
But therein lies the slippery slope fallacy. You think because they let Trump in that he's going to continue to be this tyrant. Isn't that the slippery slope fallacy?
Well, okay,
The same exact thing.
He won't be a tyrant. It's not like he said, "Oh, I was my bad." He's still saying the same things he said the moment he lost the election. He hasn't changed a bit.
But you're missing the point. It's the same slippery slope fallacy. It's just that this one.
No, this slope is steady. It's not slippery. He's the same person he was when he left office.
Okay, it's going over your head.
No, it's not. It's not a slippery
slope.
slope. He gets in. If you think I believe that if he gets in, from what I've seen him do before, that's all I can go off of, that he's going to do more of the same once he gets in.
Wait, but then we're saying, when we look at our government, Roe v. Wade was overturned. So we have tangible proof as well that motherfuckers do what they want to do when they want to do it, despite their populace. They don't care, right? So we can sit here and say, look at what they did when this happened, and look at what the government did with this. And we have our list is longer. Our evidence list is longer than some Trump 4 years. We have a way longer list. So if anyone deserves, or it's illogical for us to have a slippery slope fallacy, it's us, not because we're paranoid because, Trump only did 4 years. Now he's going to come back and destroy the country and it's going to collapse because of Trump. To me, I think you have more of a slippery slope fallacy than us watching the government fuck everyone in the ass for centuries.
So,
and that's the full government, not just one side.
One person.
The government didn't do any that. What was done was the Supreme Court overturned a precedent. It was never a law. They sent it back to the states, and now you have each individual state making their own ruling on abortion. So it's not the federal government; it's state governments. Normally, it's the red states, the ones in the South, that are restricting access to abortion. But the federal government never did anything. It was the Supreme Court overruling a precedent, not even a law.
But you're doing now what is it? Splitting hairs. Now you're splitting hairs. The keyword in everything you said, the keyword in everything you said was government. You said government. What did you say?
Which part? I said the government didn't change anything.
But who did?
The Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade, which is a precedent.
And who are they?
They are the what is it? You have the executive, legislative, and the third branch. They're the judicial,
Of the
judicial part. They're judicial.
we can get there,
They're
though.
federal
We can
judges.
get there.
They're federal judges.
Of who do they work
Of
for?
the
No, but they don't make laws. They don't make laws. They rule laws. They don't make laws.
they have
They
nothing to
sim-
do with the government, is what you're saying.
So they're separate from the government.
What I'm saying is they didn't make a law and change anything. They simply said this precedence needs to go back.
Okay, who do they work for? Do they work for me?
Yeah, they do.
Because of what?
They work for me because of what gives them the power? What gives them the power to work for me, though? Whether I pay taxes or not, what gives them the power to work for me?
It's part of the system. It's part of the.
Because I don't pay. And what's the system?
I know,
What's the
I
system?
understand what you're saying. That they
But
are
what's the
federal-
system?
They are
What's
federal
the system?
judges. They're federal judges. Yes, they're part of the government, but they're not.
Okay.
But they're not making the laws. They're not lawmakers. They ruled on something that was done. In the
This,
70s.
that, tomato. All I'm saying is they have the power to enforce and judge and whatever. It's all one big pie. That's my only point. It's one big pie. Now you can split hairs and say, no, Idaho didn't do it yet, and only Arkansas did it, and
California won't do
Minnesota
it.
and
New York,
California,
there's a lot of states that aren't going to do it. There's plenty of states that aren't going to do it.
yeah, I know.
Unless
the chat is
unless people get
the
in
chat
there
beating you
and
up right
make
now.
a federal law. If they make a federal law like they're talking about now, if they try to make it a national law, then yes, you're right. Then it would be the government saying you can't do it. The federal government, not just individuals.
So the smaller government is telling you not to do it.
Well, each state government, each state has their own. That's what the strike down was about. Giving it back to each state to make their own laws.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear that it was the government. Huh?
Shout out to Charles Coleman. Charles Coleman says abortion is a white woman's issue. They will decide whether America is pro-choice or pro-life. Check the numbers. Yep.
Yeah, but I also read statistically the women who have the most abortions are Black women, followed by
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, and that is that is something that Black women don't often talk about. Because why would they? But anyway, I mean, everything is allowed to happen in America as long as white people let it. It's a problem when it's a white problem. When it's not a white problem, it's just a minor inconvenience. And you can take that to the bank.
Now, wait a minute now. God damn it. An atheist got 10 out of wait a damn minute now.
That shit is just a minor inconvenience when it ain't their problem. I got the 80s to prove that.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, it goes without saying the laws, the rules, whoever this, that, I'm sure these men are very adamant about being pro-life until the mistress and the interns get pregnant. Of course.
Yeah,
absolutely. You think if a Rothschild accidentally gets some Vegas whore pregnant, they're gonna allow that woman to go out there and have the fucking kid? Are you crazy? She'll be dead before she gets back to a hotel room. Trust me.
Right. Easy. Oh, she overdosed. The maid found her.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think there should be a law in place, or some sort of bill, right? Whether it's the big government or the widow government, no saying. Do you think there should be a law in place for if a woman wants to abort and the man does not want her to? Should she be charged? Or her body, her choice. Her body, her choice.
That'll never work because that'll get tied up so long in court that she'll be 6 months pregnant before it ever gets resolved.
So let's talk about the aftermath then. If he didn't want to and she aborts, now the baby is gone, should she be charged? Did she murder his child?
No.
No?
No, I don't think you can. If abortion is legal, you can't turn around and charge someone
If it's illegal in one of them states you mentioned.
Ooh, see, now that's different because some of those states are looking to go after people. They're, it's not here yet. I don't want to say slippery slope. It's not here yet, but there's been shit floating around where they're talking about going after people for going to a different state. So it's a little crazy, but
Does anyone know the repercussions for, in the states where abortion is now illegal? Does anyone know what the repercussions are if a woman is found to have an abortion in that state?
Well, in that, I just want to say something. In that particular situation, if the woman, if it's illegal for the woman to get an abortion and she does get an abortion, if she committed a crime, she should face the consequences. You broke the law. Now, whatever is on the other end of that, it is on the other end of that. However, if we're going to go down this road, then if she has the kid, because you want the kid, if you fuck around and don't want to contribute, she should be mandatorily allowed to take your ass to court for child support.
I agree with that. I also think that
and go in your pockets, because if you kicked and screamed to have this child, you are going to sit there and you are going to pay for this motherfucker, not me.
Well, see,
okay.
I'm a little bit crazier
What
than
the
you
baby
are.
do? The baby's a little motherfucker already.
Right. Ain't even got
bit,
here yet.
I'm a little bit crazier than you are in this sense. I think the states that are making it illegal to have to terminate a pregnancy should have to raise taxes for welfare to help the babies that are born into poverty that their moms can't take care or their dads can't take care by themselves.
Oh, then
Instead of cutting.
You know what? Ooh, then you get everybody fucking angry. Like, whoa. You see, people's opinions.
We only care about babies that's not here.
Look, listen, people's opinions about a lot of things change when they gotta have their fucking foot in the water. Like, whoa. When you force other people to have skin in the game, all of a sudden it's wait. I don't know. Wait. Hey, like, hey man, come here and take care of your fucking kid. You know what I mean? Trust me. So yeah, I can see that. Okay. Why not? Why not?
So I see a challenge in the chat. No, Haran, the government cannot just make any law and we have no choice to follow it. The laws need to be legit and make sense. Lawmakers should not be just randomly making stupid laws. But I think overturning Roe versus Wade is a stupid law.
Very much so.
Because once the child is here, no one wants to take care of it.
Right. That's what makes this argument just so
totally
hysterical.
Every law is made up. Every law is made up.
This is what makes this whole conversation hysterical for me, because the way people fight to the death about a child that isn't born, but how we treat humans that are born, it's just so weird. That's what shows me that it's not about what they say it's about at all. It's never about what they say it's about. Everyone wants a kid. Oh, it's the kids, and we care about the kids because it could possibly grow up and be the next Michael Jordan. Okay, but it could possibly grow up and not be.
Yeah,
that sounds like no thing. That sounds like no thing. You're the special sperm.
I had a problem with the people that would go to the clinics and beg the people not to have the abortions. We'll help you take care, and then that's not true. They may stick around for a couple of packets of diapers in the beginning, but they're not there the whole time as that person struggles to raise that kid once that kid's born. So yeah. That's why I think we do need a federal law. We have no federal law. I think if we have a chance before, if there's ever a chance to do it, to get it passed through federally, and that way there's no Roe v. Wade, it's a federal law, but.
Look, man, 9 times out of 10, when we have kids, we get JoJo the car wash driver, okay? He's a good dude, but he can't get right. Every now and then we get a Michael Jordan. Every now and then we get a Barack Obama. Every now and then we get a Michael Jackson. 9 times out of 10, we get motherfuckers who are just average enough to help this shit move along. The next guy on the goddamn conveyor belt. That's it.
Yep.
Let's
Um,
see.
YouTube Press says, personally, I'm against abortion, but I feel women should make their own decisions. I've had a forced medical procedure. I didn't like not having the choice. Were you circumcised, sir? Were you circumcised as a child? Was that your forced medical procedure? Now I'm curious because that's
I know,
usually
but he didn't know if he liked it or not. Who remembers that?
well, if he's but if he's having complications as an adult male,
That's different. Yeah, that may be.
because
You may be right.
because
We'll see.
that's where what I'm thinking. Because some of those circumcisions are botched.
Is
I'm
that what
curious.
happened?
He said yes, but that wasn't it. So I'm just curious, what forced medical procedure did you have? And did you sue? As an adult, what forced medical procedure did you have? I'm curious. I'm curious.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm really
I'm not even
curious.
sure if I want to know. Just as a man.
I wanna
I know.
know.
I'm sitting there like,
I'm just
What?
like,
He said he had a judge force him to donate blood for court fines. Child.
nigga, if you don't get the fuck off, get the
Child.
fuck off. You got me thinking some shit like they held you down and tried to siphon you of bodily organs and some shit like that. Get the fuck.
What in the hell? Jay Cavassier needs therapy. He says abortion is the ultimate form of hypergamy. It's a fail-safe for women's poor mating choices. The ultimate Uno reverse card. Listen. I'm surprised that it took an hour and 15 minutes.
me too. I'm really like, I'm like disappointed that it took this long for an ignorant comment like that to come up.
Yeah, I was like an hour and 15 minutes. That has to be some sort of record on YouTube where the woman gets blamed for getting herself pregnant. Getting herself pregnant. It's interesting. Going back to what No Saint said, I guess the heartbeat is what makes you think it's a human being. Is that what it is?
No, I mean, listen, the fetus can have a heartbeat, and I still believe the brain's not developed, but it certainly, I knew what was coming. When I saw the fetus and I saw the heartbeat, I knew, okay, this is going to be, and it was going to be my first child as well. And I just felt like, yeah,
But what if you didn't hear the heartbeat? What if it was like the little blob? Would you?
No, I wouldn't.
What if you didn't see it?
I still wouldn't have done it.
You still wouldn't have done it?
I'll tell y'all a story.
Sounds like Erica was ready to snip, baby. Let's start again.
She was scared. She was scared. She was scared because they're telling you, but I'd already read up that there were medications you could take during pregnancy. Because it was, when they first told us, don't get pregnant. All right. Well, it was already done. We didn't know at the time. It was already done. And she was suffering this hyperthyroidism. She breathes like she couldn't move hardly without breathing heavy. Her blood pressure would go up, so she had to go on beta blockers. She had to go on all these things. But I'd already read up that I knew you could use certain medicines that were more successful, and So yeah, it was.
What if you have a wild night and get the woman pregnant, and she's like, "Yeah, I think I should abort. You're married."
Married? That's a different story. That is. I think you have to have the deeper discussion if you're in a relationship and you're married and there's a talk of abortion and one doesn't want to and one does, because that is going to.
No. I said if you have a wild night and get another woman pregnant and she wants to abort because you're married.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a different thing. I mean, I don't really have a say.
Yeah, it's a different thing, but you're not answering the question. What would you do?
No, I don't have a say so in it, really.
But what would you want? This is a mistress, for a one night mistress, and she's like, "Oops, I'm pregnant. It's you. You're the only person I've been with, but you're married. What do you want to do?"
I don't know. It's kind of hard to put myself in that situation. I mean, I'm not sitting there. I'm not saying, for sure, I would want to get it. You know, another question would be, what if I was married and she wanted to have it? Would I have a problem and I wouldn't? I could say that,
Hmm.
you know.
But wouldn't it be the same? Still be the same heartbeat that you was talking about earlier?
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not saying I'm for it though.
I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I knew a white woman. She told me a story of her child. She's a single mother. She got pregnant. You know what I'm saying? She was with a dude. You know, she's with a guy, and they broke up. And she was wondering, you know, if she would keep the baby, whatever. And the family was like, no, we keep the child. We love this child. The whole family's going to come together. You know, that old 8 is enough shit. Damn, I just aged myself. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, all that shit. You know what I mean? And then she forgot to mention something. When she had the child, it was a mixed baby. She cheated on the dude she was with a black man.
Mm-hmm.
And the reaction of the family was so different. So different. And, you know, it was like, oh, we feel betrayed. We'd be like, do you feel lied to?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really? Or did you and the family said that we will not accept this nigger baby into our home and into our lives? It was that I also, and one she said one of them actually admitted that no, it's a black kid, it's a mixed child. We don't want that in our lives. One of them admitted that. I'm sure they all felt the same fucking way. So yeah, it's real funny, you know what I mean, when people say those things, because I say, hey man, you know, for all those dudes who say that, hey, keep the kid and whatever, and what if she keeps the kid and the kid's a boy and your son's gay?
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is why.
What would your thoughts have been about that? Of course, you're not going to find out on the first day of birth that, oh, it's a gay child. But if the child, you know, grows up, gets older, and you find out the child's gay, how would you feel about that? Would you have gone back and done it differently? Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, this is why what you just stated, and also what No Saint just said, I always call cap on people when they try to make it about the baby and about the children, because like when you boil it all down, it's always about our selfish needs as the adult, right? Even after the baby's born or before the baby's born, it always is. And I'm not saying it's such a bad thing. It's just something to think about and be honest about, right? Because honestly, that's one of the things that had me to look at my parents different and to get over some things, some damage that they did, because it was just kind of a natural thing that parents do, right? They have this idea and this thing set in their head, and then they'll put whatever that idea is onto a baby or onto a child without the child's permission or knowledge, right? And then they mask it in all these beautiful poetic things, right? But but at the bottom line is it's basic selfishness, because the same heartbeat for the child with your wife is the same heartbeat for the child with the mistress. It's the same beautiful heartbeat.
But I never said I wanted her to get an abortion. I don't understand.
But here's the thing, No Saint, you didn't jump at it. Like,
that's the point
when you spoke about your wife, you were adamant. You was like, I don't care about her thyroid problem. I heard there's medication for that. But when we gave you the situation of the mistress, you were silent for a while. You were thinking, and you said, hey, I never said I wanted. But that pause that you did, all it does, and again, I'm with Lily, we're all selfish. We're all self-serving. But wait, let me finish. We're all selfish. We're all self-serving. You paused. See, the reason why you pause is because it's not about the heartbeat. It's not about the life. It's not about that special sperm. It's about circumstances now. I'm married. Well, if she wanted to do it, I'm not going to tell her not to do it. Would it be my ideal situation? No. But here's the thing. Either you're pro or you're conditional. And I think you're conditional, and that's fine. But you're conditional because you didn't jump at it. You didn't say.
No, I need to, because I know what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. I have to put myself in a situation that I'm not in. And then I tend to sit there and really think hard about, okay, how would I feel about that? It doesn't just come natural for me to sit there and say, oh, well, yeah. I had to really think about it. And the reason I had to think about it is I've had stuff that happened in my past that I had no choice of. I didn't want it, but I didn't have a choice. And that's all I was saying was, well, I really don't have a choice in that matter. But I
But you
wouldn't
wouldn't want it. But you don't
but
wouldn't want
I
it.
didn't say that either. I would not. No, I would totally. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, thank goodness she's going to. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be that way. I was just thinking, how would I feel? I wouldn't be pressing for that person to go and get a termination because I'm married. That's all I was.
But you notice, I know, but you notice that you keep taking it away from the baby. Your thing was that's a life. That's the
Yes,
special sperm
I
that made
agree.
it. That's the heartbeat. You're not saying you. But when we talked about the mistress, you didn't jump to it's a baby. I don't care what's involved. I don't care if it's a mistress, the cat
Right.
on the corner, my wife, whoever. It is a baby. When we spoke about your wife, you were adamant about I don't care about her thyroid problem. We got medication for that because this is my child and it's gonna be my first child. But when we brought up the mistress, that you weren't adamant. You were like, I don't know, and I would have to think about it. Like
No,
if she
it's
did want to
much
keep
more.
it.
It's much more complicated when this.
No,
person,
it's the lot. No,
It's
No,
the
it's
life.
not
it is.
complicated.
You
Either
guys,
you're
We're going
you guys
pro-life.
are saying same. I'm saying it's not the same
It
because
is.
We're going by
Then
your
if it's
words,
not-
though. We're going by
choice.
your
Then if it's
words.
not this, then if it's not the same, you were being disingenuous.
No,
If it's
I
not,
don't have
yes,
a. Oh
yes,
my
it
God,
is.
you're not listening. I don't
Yes,
have a
yes,
choice
it
in what
is.
that person does. It's not that I'm not married to. I have. No
Yes, it
choice.
is. Yes, that's
I
like
can say-
that's like me saying I would
I
die.
can
That's like me
say-
saying I would give my life for a child, right? When somebody says, "Okay, would you give your life for that child?" Yeah, yeah. Would you give your life for that child to take $5 million? I'll take the 5 million. Jen, but you told me you would give your life for children. Yeah, but that was before you told me the 5 million. So I got to think about it a little bit. Then I'm being disingenuous. Then I wouldn't give my life for a child. I would give my life for a child conditionally because now it's like, well, damn, now you threw something else
No.
on it. So let me think about it for a minute. And that's exactly what you did, No Saint. That's
No,
exactly
so
what you did.
you're not seeing that. You're not.
I know. I think I did. If you
Same,
tell me
same,
if
same.
I had the choice, if it was my choice, I would have that baby. If it's my choice. If you tell me I could force that person to do it, which you're not going to tell me, I would say yes.
Okay, did you not notice? I'm just curious. Did you not notice your hesitation, your pondering, and your
I
silence?
just
Did
told
you
you
not
why I
notice that?
hesitated. I have to think of the situation that I'm not.
Okay, so
in.
but listen to me. But then you're thinking about the situation. You're not thinking about the child and the heartbeat and the special sperm. Did you see how that
That's
happened?
the point that we're making. Because this
That's
was
the
your
point.
words. These are not our words. These were your words. And
That's
so
because-
based
I know,
off
but
of
I'm
what
thinking
your
like-
words were.
because
If
I'm
you
because
ever,
I'm thinking, do I even does it even in this situation? We're not a couple or anything. Do I have any leverage in this?
But it's about the
situation? I don't have the
heartbeat.
leverage.
But it's
I
about
can't
that
tell her to
heartbeat.
have
You
a
said
baby.
earlier. You said
All
earlier
right, so
that's a
I'll
life.
take
It's
a
special
gun. I'll take
sperm.
a gun and force her to have the baby. If that's what you want me to say. I
Well,
don't
listen,
understand.
no
I don't
Saint,
have a
No.
choice.
Saint, if you're ever in some situation like that, just call me and I'll take her out. I'll take care of everything for you. You can just sit back, watch the game, and we'll come back and we'll just act like nothing ever happened. You know what I mean?
No, that's not even. Let's not divert from the point because this is a great point. It
It's
proves
a
what
very good
Lily
point.
said. It's what Lily said. So let's not divert. It made a great point. It's conditional. When people are pro-life, it is conditional. They are
First of
pro-life.
all, I'm not pro-life. I'm
Let-
pro-choice.
Okay, pro-choice. When people are pro-choice, okay, whether they're pro-life or pro-choice, it's conditional. Human beings are selfish and they're self-serving. I don't know why it's so hard to fucking admit that.
Just
I
admit
don't-
it.
It's not malicious. It's not malicious.
You know why? You know why? Because we're conditioned to believe that being selfish is wrong. And that's why so many of you live fucked up lives. Because everyone
Okay.
else around you is selfish as shit. And they drain you of every last fucking drop. And they
Yep.
make you feel guilty as fuck for wanting to do something for yourself. Listen, my kid needed something the other day. You know what I mean? I said to myself, wait, does she need that or do I want to get it for her? Wait a minute, how much money did I spend on her the last couple of times? She'll be all right. I'm gonna get this amp. Yo, put that in the truck. I'm good. Fuck that. Fuck that.
I feel you. I've done it.
She's alive, isn't she? She's alive. She has a ton of money. You're gonna ask her mom. They're well fucking taken care of. I'm leaving this fucking place with my amp. I earned this shit, man.
I feel you. I've done it.
Listen, and there's one thing I learned in years in software programming. One thing. variables are motherfucking. When they change, they can change the whole fucking program. Just shifting a few variables around can change so much. And it's just that way with human beings. You shift this a little bit here, you shift that a little bit there, then all of a sudden people are like, I don't know. Maybe I would do that.
That's all of us. That's all of us. Literally
Nothing
all
wrong
of
with
us.
that.
I have no problem admitting my hypocrisies and my different variables, and because that is all of us, and it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just a human nature thing, especially when you're talking about parents and parenting and all of that. Like
That's
that
not
whole mind fuck.
Vegatron is probably smoking again. This has nothing to do with marriage or building families or whatever. The point is either you pro-life or you're not. Either you're pro-choice or you're not. And I've heard both sides be very conditional according to the situation. That's the only point I was making. When it came to the issue of your wife, you were like, fuck the thyroid. We're moving hell in hot water and there's medication. When it came to the mistress, you're like, I have to think about that. But your reason for, okay, working on the thyroid problem was because of the heartbeat, and because that was a human being, and because that was your first child, and because sperm are special, right? You had it all mapped out when it came to the wife. With the mistress, now I have to ponder. Now I have to think. It no longer became that sperm is special and it beat out all the other sperm. It no longer became, but the heartbeat was there. It no longer became, but that's my child. I helped that the conception of that child. All of that went out the window. You started pondering, this is different. I don't know. It wasn't the life of the child any longer. And that's what pro-life people do. And that's what pro-choice people do.
If you would have asked me if I was with a mistress and she was pregnant, you would have asked me, do I want the baby? I would have said yes. That would have been an easy answer. That's not what you asked me. That's not what you asked me.
What did I ask you? What did I ask you?
What did you? Let's rewind it, because you didn't ask me that.
What did I ask you?
I can't remember, but it made me think. It made me have to think about
It made you think because it was no longer about that thing is living. That's why it made you think. It became It made you think because it was no longer about the thing was living. It became, fuck, I'm married and this is a mistress. So here's the thing: the married and the mistress trumped that thing had a heartbeat. It trumped it. And I'm just saying, do you see that? Do you see that?
No, you're thinking like you're in a marriage that something like that is going to mess up my marriage. And that is not the furthest thing from my mind when I was pondering your question.
No. I'm thinking, would you want that thing with the heart beating in any circumstance? That's what I'm thinking.
If you're asking me, I would say yes. If you're asking me if I had any control, that's where I was thinking. Do I have any control over this? Is she gonna, do I really have a say?
Oh, okay. No, Saint. We're gonna do like when Kari was saying. Remember when Kari was dying on the hill? We're gonna let you die on your hill. Fine. I didn't move the goalpost. Scrapple. No Saint moved the goalpost.
No, I didn't.
You moved the goalpost.
Oh, wait. She's got the question.
Like,
hold on.
Yeah, I think I should abort. You're married.
Married? That's a different story. That is.
See, I knew we weren't crazy.
No, let me hear what the question was.
Married, that's a different story.
Hold on.
He's like, yeah, I think I should abort. You're married.
That's what I'm not.
Married? That's
What? I want the before that, though. I want to hear what you said before
Let's hear the whole thing.
Hyperthyroidism.
Okay.
Like she couldn't move without breathing heavy.
Nothing is taken out of context.
Would go up, so she had to go on beta blockers. She had to go on all these things. But I'd already read up that I knew you could use certain medicines that were more successful, and So yeah. It was
what if you have a wild night and get the woman pregnant, and she's like, yeah, I think I should abort. You're married.
Okay, I know what happened. I know what happened there. When I said, that's a different story, the way I took that question was, we were married and she wanted to get an abortion. And I'm like, married, that's a different question.
And then I cleared it up. Lily, keep playing it. And then I cleared it up and I made it clear to you what I was asking. I was asking about a mistress and I cleared it up.
Okay.
Happened there. when I said, that's a different story. The way I took that question was, we were married and she wanted to get an abortion. I'm like, married, that's a different question.
And then I cleared it up. Lily.
Oh, hold on, I'm back.
That's
I'm
now.
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I went back in. I went back to the regular. Okay, I don't even know if I can find it again, y'all.
Lily coming through with the receipts.
Right. It'll take me a minute to find it again. Hold on.
This is funny.
Got your little
Hit that like and subscribe for me.
gavel.
Order. Hit that like and subscribe for me, darling.
You still got that. You still got that impotent gavel.
My who was it that said my gavel look al dente? First of all, this was gifted to me because they picked me to be the foreman in a jury focus group. So I won.
Jesus Christ.
I can't even go to a jury focus group and just chill. I have to be the foreman. Listen.
Jesus Christ.
I got it.
I've gotten out of jury duty by asking questions that are just.
You don't like jury duty?
What?
I can't find it.
Lily can't find it, but you skated out of that. You skated out of it. You hesitated. You hesitated because it wasn't about the heartbeat. It was about the circumstance. You can rewind it later, which proved my point.
Yeah, because we both heard it the same. We was like, hold on.
Like I literally asked because people switch up. They switch up, but depending on the circumstance, it's like, oh, wait a minute, who got pregnant? Wait,
no, that wasn't my thought. But I understand most people it would be the thought, but that was not the way I was thinking.
How are you thinking?
I was trying to put myself in that situation when you asked, how would I feel about that? But I still would, if I had a choice in the matter, would have the child.
But okay, now we're still going back.
No, but
because
how am I going back? Listen, I can't force the other person to have the child. There's no law that makes me force that. I can't do it. If that person, I would want to. That's all I can say is what I would want, but I can't say what that other person would want. That's all I'm saying. But
thank you for the super chat, YouTube Press. YouTube Press says looks like a referee is needed in the lineup. Apparently. Any in here. So back to conditional abortions, pro-life. Do you think that Roe versus Wade, I mean, it's overturned. Do you think that it will go back to pro-choice? Do you think people will fight and it will go back to pro-choice, seeing as we're thinking things are going to get worse? Do you think it will go back?
Well, Vegatron actually brings up a very good point right here.
Vegatron?
Yes, Vegatron. I mean, he's an idiot. He's just annoying.
Okay.
As far as pro-choice, we need to be careful. We don't end up like China. We're on that line as well of not having enough people. It would be a shame if due to cultural opposed to a static mandate. And like I was saying earlier, there's been a dip in birth rates. There's been a dip in birth rates, and of course, that's sounding off a number of alarms. And yes, there are a number of people who do use abortion as a form of contraception. And as you said before, Black women have been known to use that as a form of contraception, according to the data.
Absolutely. I think, you know, I only know about the ghetto because that's where I was born and raised. But I will say, you know, the Latin and Black you know what I'm saying, homies in the neighborhood it was very common. Like in my neighborhood, there was like Walton Avenue. If you're from the Bronx, you know Walton Avenue, and then the Grand Concourse. The Grand Concourse had Bronx Lebanon Hospital. I mean, a fucking third world country hospital. We already know if you go in there, you wasn't coming back out. Very horrible. They got spoons instead of scalpels. Anyhow, fast forward. And we used to see the girls walking, like whenever it was, we used to hang out in the street whenever we used to see the girls walking from Bronx Lebanon Hospital around about noonish.
Oh.
Noonish. We used to be like, girl, you just came from, girl. I had to go get, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, whew. And it was like, it would be the same girl more than once, every couple years. So it has been used as a form of birth control, which I thought was absolutely cringe because, the procedure to abort is brutal. So I'm like, how you laid down for that, I don't know. I think it's silly, to be quite honest. This is just my opinion. And I'm pro-choice, but not because I think heartbeats should be deleted. I'm pro-choice because I really do feel that level of transgression, or whatever you want to call it, sin or crime or death, I really do think it's something that an individual, if it's in your body or on your body, you have to live with and you have to deal with. Okay. You have to deal with it. It really doesn't affect anybody outside of you unless you have, the father wants to keep it and then you don't. Then it's affecting someone outside of you. But if it's not, and two people, on the same page and they're like, we don't want to do this, then I really don't think it's anybody's business. You got to live with that. Those are your demons. However, I think it's a little silly that as an adult, there are a myriad of ways to prevent pregnancy, but people follow their dick, or they follow I'm horny, or they follow I love him, I miss him, blah, blah, the moment. But there's a myriad, like I think at this point, you're treating adults like fucking toddlers. If they are fighting you because they want to go abort, and it was just so easy to go get birth control. Like, it is super easy. There's like a list when you go to the clinic of how many ways you could prevent pregnancy. But I know that's too much like right. And I know that's too mature. And I know that's too, you know what I mean? It's too much of a fix. Humans like complications. They like complicating their lives. They're like, oh, a van's coming. Let me jump in front. See what happens. Right? That's the average human being. But there's so many ways to prevent abortion. But that nut, you gotta get that nut. You gotta get that nut because it's so important. And to me, it's crazy because it's so short-lived. I mean, Haran talks about post-nut clarity. After you come, you don't even like the bitch. And even if it's your wife, you're like, okay, I'm done. Roll off of me. I want to watch the game. So something to me that's so minute in your day. It's not like you come and it's like, oh my God, you're basking in it in the last 3 days. You come and then you're like done. You don't even want to fucking cuddle.
Well,
Go get the warm rag, give me some cereal.
No, we don't. I mean, according to the manosphere, like these things happen, and the stars, everything aligns, and pair bonding occurs, and the great, Pyramid of Giza erupts. Like, I mean, like I don't know.
You know what's hilarious about the manosphere and the red pill and shit like that is that they're such meatheads and such Neanderthals. They think with their dick. That's why they run around, dyeing their beards and their hair. They're like tools, right? They remind me of Jersey Shore first season. So for them to act like they're Christians and traditional, it's not like this is a group of Jehovah's Witnesses or, these are like this is the most Neanderthal and meathead group of men I have ever met in my entire life. And I've worked from corporate America all the way down to the streets of the Bronx, okay? And these guys are the biggest group of meathead Neanderthals, knuckle draggers I've ever met in my life.
No.
Look, listen.
So for them to act traditional, it's comedy.
Look, so many of them are like all of them that I've met, even the ones that outside the ones that we met in Vegas, all the ones that I met is some variant of the situation. from Jersey Shore. There's like there's some version of him. You know what I mean? Like some variant, like whether it's the hair, the attitude, the whatever, something. You know what I mean? It's just like there's some sort of offshoot of that, and it's just
And the age, and let me tell you, the age does not matter. Because remember, the first season of Jersey Shore, them guys were like in their late teens. These guys are pushing 40 and 50, running around like meatheads. So for them, I mean, so unrefined. So for them to act like, you know what I mean, they're holier than thou, and they're traditional, and women should be at home baking pies. You guys like fucking hoes and hookers. Every show you have, there's a slew of hoes and hookers and prostitutes and OnlyFans models and you know what I mean, self-proclaimed and porn actors. That is really your life. That is who you are. So
They
it's
are
just
not interested in bringing on a separate wife.
it's
Well,
funny. So go ahead, no saying.
No, to answer your question, we'll see if this is going to swing the other way or not. I know there's a lot of people upset with some of the things that have been going on as far as Roe v. Wade and what some of the states are doing. Even the red states are voting down more restrictive laws. We'll see how it plays out politically. I will say that you're right. There are so many ways to prevent it. There is some creeping in some states to try to get rid of abortion pills, the after morning pills. So you gotta watch, So you gotta watch out for that. Will be the next, if in certain places, hopefully. But I think the only way around it is to get a federal law on the books, because other than that, we're letting states just do what states are gonna do, like what. So we'll see. It's
Okay, no, now that's crazy. Now that's crazy to outlaw. You know what I mean? That's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, if you
That's
try to
fucking
outlaw
nuts.
I guarantee if you try to outlaw that pill, you're just creating an opportunity for it to be on the black market. They're going to create black market pills. They're going to find ways to make some sort of some counterfeit pills out of that shit. People probably going to be dying from the shit because you know what I mean.
Fentanyl
You
laced
know what I
on
mean?
it.
All
Yeah,
that.
fentanyl
So all that. So this that's going to open up a whole new can of worms, man.
Jay Cavasia says, "Where's the not all sign regarding what I said about the red pill in the manosphere? I will not use the not all some sign, but I will use this one. How's that one? Okay, that we need another sign. There's the third sign. All right. So that statement I made is not all some. It's here you go. This is the new sign here.
Well, they need a 90% sign over there.
Seriously. Seriously.
Number.
So everything is 90%. Every time I hear somebody say 90%, I'm like, here we go.
That's their magic number, like 350 with black people on the oven. We cook everything on 350.
Everything.
350.
Everything. So on our way.
No, I'm just realizing I put something in the oven today, and I immediately went to 350.
Yeah. I mean, everything cooks at 350. The fuck? Cakes, chicken, bacon.
Turkeys for Thanksgiving. Everything.
Hey, it works for me. I don't know what all them numbers are for on the oven. 350 for me. So on our way out, this just in, I saw Star from the Star Report talking about it, so I did a quick Google. Big Daddy Kane, who graced the block with his presence when I had the hip hop rivalry between Puerto Ricans and black people who did what in the history of Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, Puerto Ricans and hip hop. He was here on the block. Turned out Big Daddy Kane almost comes to blows with UK rapper after he storms the stage. Big Daddy Kane didn't expect UK rapper Comanche Sly to storm the stage while he was performing at a recent show, which almost led to the pair getting into a fight. The legendary rapper served as the headliner for a massive Hip Hop 50 event at London's O2 Forum, Kentish Town on Saturday, August 26th, which included additional performances and others. In a video captured of the event, Kane can be seen spitting with ferocity to an energized crowd before a masked rapper who was later identified as Hijack member Comanche Sly wanders onto the stage and simply stands in front of the cheering audience. Kane tolerates the interruption for a few moments, but ends up stopping the music and confronting the masked agitator. You're doing too much, Playboy, in my Kane voice. As his security wandered out on stage to escort the rapper off, I need the stage. You're doing too much. After gently trying to push Sly off, the rapper turns to him and confronts Kane to his face, saying something to which Kane replies, "That ain't my fucking problem." Sly continues to antagonize Kane, who at one point tries to take off his jacket and get ready to fight before his crew members come and defuse the situation. It's unclear what exactly happened, but YouTube commenters who claim to have been at the show wrote below the aforementioned video that Sly was upset that his group Hijack, a well-established rap group in the UK, kept getting bumped further down the roster in favor of American acts. Another alleged attendee wrote, last wrote, another attendee wrote, allegedly, I heard they rolled up late and missed their spot, hence being moved down on the roster. No one's fault apart from Hijack. They got to the venue late and missed their spot. Kane was due to follow Master Ace, and that's what he did. I heard Hijack missed the slot given to them before Master Ace and then carried on like this for the rest of the show. That is what I heard. Thankfully, the pair didn't end up fighting, and the show went on as planned. I don't know, but Big Daddy Kane is healthy, honey. All right. But that was
Brooklyn.
disrespectful, and that was hella disrespectful. So I'll shoot him a little DM later, like, "You okay?"
He don't bother nobody
At all. Listen,
at
Kane was trying
all.
to. I'm gonna DM him later. I saw you trying to warm it up, Kane.
Because he's still looking good out here. He's still looking good out
Yeah.
here. Looking like a whole snack out here. So right.
He's from the Bronx
He's
in the
a-
80s, man. Come on,
Yeah,
that's
he's
a
like
different-
he's like a 2-3 shot of Patron smash. Kane still looks good.
Mhm.
He still looks good. I'm just saying. All right. So with that said, guys, we are going to close. Please hit that like and subscribe on your way out from Mama. We did get people in here despite using the word abortion. We got people in here. Thank you so much for participating. We will be back mañana with something spicy, and I won't put anything that'll kill us in the algo in the headline, I promise. All right, guys, strap up. Have some dick control. Stop shooting up the club. Lots of don't put your birth control in someone else's hands. I don't want to hear she told me she was on pill, and I don't want to hear he told me he was gonna pull out, because you know when y'all getting down, it's like, yeah, baby, come at me, it feels so good, and then 9 months later, you don't want that.
And
Don't.
if you're done having children, men, just go ahead and get the procedure done. It doesn't hurt. It's really easy. Not a problem.
Did you do it, No Say?
Yes.
Woo! Congratulations. Listen, if I was a man, I'd do the same shit. First of all, let me tell you something, Haran, and there's a whole different topic, and you motherfuckers piss me off. You are a black, right? And the problem with black men is that they, yes, a black. Okay, you are a black. So the problem with black men is that their whole existence and identity is wrapped around that dick. So you think that getting a vasectomy somehow takes away from your manhood because you're no longer able to impregnate women. Get fucking snipped. Get snipped. That way you could stay all up in that juicy gushy and not worry about getting her pregnant. If I was a man and I had a dick, I'd be like, snip, baby, because I want to shoot everything up.
It's so much
That would be me.
It's so much easier than for a woman to have to get her stuff done. It's so much simpler for her to just
It's a lunchtime procedure, and you can reverse it if you want to. So
yeah, and you just leave right after. Literally, you go get it done and go back to work like nothing happened. Women, shit, tying the tubes, the complications, it's a lot of shit. Even birth control for women, the pills are horrible. You're literally putting poison in your body.
And for the women, it's not reversible. With the men, it's reversible. It's a lunchtime procedure. It's reversible in and out. I got a family member that did it. They had their 2 children, went straight to the doctor right from them 2 children. It's like, okay, I got a boy, I got a girl, boom. Went and did it. They had no downtime, and they don't notice the difference.
Although there was that little hoe that was dating my Uncle Ricky and lied to him and was like, "Oh, I need some money to get my tubes reversed," and got my uncle for some money, and that bitch was way beyond having children. I ain't forget you, bitch. I ain't
Ooh,
forget
she
you.
tried it.
Mm-hmm.
She tried it. She just Sandy.
Got Uncle Ricky for a couple G's, bitch.
I'm sorry, Uncle Ricky.
Lucky I wasn't there. But anyway, women are scandalous. That's gonna be a topic for another day. Scandalous hoes, and we're gonna talk about them. Come from my
He
Uncle
scrambles in
Ricky.
his oven. He scrambles in his oven at 350.
Yeah, 350. All right, good night, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out. But mama, don't forget to support the show. Buy me a piece of cheesecake. Cash App on the block with Jen. Good night, guys. Check out my Instagram. That last reel, though. Sexy as fuck.